amigos, I am Rodolfo Ramos, Bradesco BBI's Mexico strategist, and welcome to This What's What in Mexico, our bi-weekly video product giving you our latest views. So this week we have spent it meeting with institutional investors here in Asia, and as you can see here, we're in beautiful Hong Kong with a full day of meetings. So I hope that you enjoy this beautiful backdrop. We did bring some nasty weather with us, so apologies for that, but I hope you enjoy it. As we normally do, we're going to be covering three topics today. We're going to be talking about the Pemex plan. Second, we're going to be talking about our views on the banking sector, where we've seen a lot of new developments. And third, we're going to give you a little bit of a flavor of what we are looking out for in the next couple of months. So kicking off here with our first point on the Pemex plan, we have seen the Claudia Sheinbaum administration taking a 180-degree turn here in regards with energy policies. We saw the government announcing and carrying out a very successful PCAP securities offering worth of $12 billion, which was very well received by crediting agencies. They also set up a 250 billion peso fund, particularly to help Pemex bridge these maturities and also face mounting debts on the supplier side. They've also laid out a roadmap to get back to 1.8 million barrels per day in production with these Sama and Trion fields. And there is a clear intent for the government to use to a greater extent private participation, not only in terms of capital, but also in terms of operational expertise. And I think the market is taking notice, and we have seen as a result the spread over sovereign significantly narrowing. Basically, we're back. We have narrowed the gap that we saw during the AMLO administration, and now we're standing at 260 basis points over sovereign, but it got as low as 220, depending on the maturities that you're looking at. But this is something that is extremely encouraging, and it should help Mexico's story to de-risk on several fronts. So this is something that investors, even equity investors, should keep in their radars. What we're looking out for is whether majors are able to are showing interest and show up in these projects, in these mixed projects as they have called. This is something very encouraging and worth taking note of. The second point here that I wanted to discuss is our views on the banking sector. We recently saw this leak of a COFECE investigation into some practices into this deferred card payment industry in Mexico. And this leak, it's a rumor, there's no official reports yet, but it adds another wrinkle to the investment thesis for Mexico. And it's worth remembering that now the antitrust authority sits directly under the Ministry of Economy. So even though it has operational independence, it had lost its constitutional independence and now is much more dependent on the executive. So this is something that is certainly worth monitoring. And this, as I mentioned, it goes on top of all of the other challenges that the industry is facing, whether it's fintech, potential adverse tax, regulation as well. And as well, investors will be facing the potential listing of Citibanamex. We have seen Mexican billionaire Chico Pardo rumored to be interested in participating or taking a stake in Citibanamex transaction and eventual listing. So this is something that is very relevant for investors, given how representative it is from Mexico's equity markets. And the third point here, last, that I wanted to touch on is, what we're looking out for in the next couple of months. The first thing I would say is on the legislative side, where we have now a Sheinbaum trying to introduce an electoral reform. We don't know what the draft is going to look like, but nonetheless, it's something that is very important, especially because some of the ideas that has been set forth is eliminating proportional representation, which would further cement Morena's foothold in Mexican politics. So this is something that is very, very important for domestic politics. We also have a labor reform that potentially could be discussed in the next ordinary session starting in September, where they intend to lower the work week from 48 to 40 hours. This, of course, will have very important implications for Mexico's private sector. So these are some of the things that We also have this mixed projects law that it hasn't been formally introduced, but this is something very, very relevant for investors that could bring more infrastructure investments to the country. And the other thing that we are monitoring, the second point here, is USMCA review and these negotiations on tariffs that we've seen with the US administration. We continue to see very tight collaboration on security matters. We clearly see the US leveraging the trade side onto security, where Mexico has been continued to expatriate and send to the US these wanted criminals. So again, it's extremely, to us, it's very obvious that the level of cooperation is unprecedented, and this should help these negotiations forward. So any clues as to how this is evolving, it will be very, very important for us to monitor. And finally, in September, we will also have the Sheinbaum administration presenting the federal budget for next year, for 2026. This is extremely important because we're going to be getting some clues as to what they're seeing for government revenues, also spending, and perhaps we start getting a little bit of clues as to whether we see a tax reform in the books. A tax reform could be presented after the budget is already introduced, but this is these are some of the things that we are monitoring. So hopefully this boat here behind me didn't disrupt your attention too much, but we hope you found it useful. Feel free to follow us on social media and our reports, of course. And until the next time, take care, amigos. Ciao, ciao.